Hey and welcome back to the Smell of Logic channel. I am Ramona. Today's Reddit stories are part 3 of the strange animal encounters. Quite a few of these over on Reddit, but found some ones that I thought would be interesting or at least entertaining. So here we go with story number 1. The toddler was cooking for my pups and me one summer. We're in the kitchen with me. Something toddler-sized but invisible bumps into me. I felt the little shoulders and the head. Am I going nuts? No, it proceeded to bump into the dogs, too. I still couldn't see anything, but I told my dogs to just let it go. Story 2. The neighbor dog that I used to play with when she was a child attacked me once. All I remember was bright white eyes. For years I have seen those eyes in the dark sometimes. Story 3. When I was 19, a friend of mine asked me to move in with her after her uncle moved out. I had stayed there a few times before I moved in. She told me that things would go missing and come back. I stayed there for a few times before I moved in, and nothing happened to me. Even though nothing happened to me before then, my spidey senses were tingling. I moved in around October. I had a cat named Romeo, and she had a dog named Stormy. They got along, and it was all good. Now, the house that we lived in not only did it feel creepy, but the landlord didn't exactly keep it up to code. We had no key to the house. We would lock it when we were home, but when we left, we had to lock it with a padlock. I'm not talking a heavy-duty padlock. No, I'm talking about the little ones you could use for a diary. We had no hot water or a shower. We had to heat our water on the stove and take baths. There were holes around the toilet, and you could look down into the basement. It wiggled when you sat on it. The joke is that you have to come up from the basement when you're done. All the lights would be on, and we would still have darkness to it. You get the drift. After moving in, little things started to happen. Stuff would disappear and then reappear. My friend had an old cuckoo clock that we would try to wind to get it working, but it never worked. We figured it needed to be professionally fixed. Yet it all managed to chime at 3 a.m. My bedroom would get ice cold, and I would step into my closet that had no heat, and it would be warmer in there than in my room. She had a large floor vent in her bedroom, and my cat Romeo would sit and stare down into it for hours. I began to notice that when my friend was gone, her dog would get clingy. Romeo was always clingy. I talked to her about it, and she said that it was my cat was the same way when I was gone. It got to where we felt like they were protecting us, or that we were protecting them. One night we were playing on the computer. The computer desk was next to her bedroom, and we heard a noise come from her room. We didn't think anything of it. Romeo and Stormy were in there. They were probably playing. Then we hear a little girl's voice say, "Help me! Please help me!" Then she laughed the most evil laugh I've ever heard. It started out almost like a chuckle, and then it grew. It was like "Mwah." The laugh then seemed to intermingle with Romeo's meow. He started to vomit, and Stormy ran from the room. It was like whatever spoke used my cat to do it. After Romeo finished vomiting, he too ran out of the room. I went to clean up the mess, and her room was ice cold. Romeo and Stormy would not go into the room for the rest of the night. Stormy would go into the hallway, cower, and then bark. My friend would wake me up, screaming my name because something was in her room with her. I didn't live there for very long, only about 4 months. The last night I was there, I watched a movie, lift off the shelf, levitate, and then sit back down. After I moved out, Romeo never clung to me the way he did at that house. I've lived in other interesting places, and he's always been my baseline. It's always freaky to experience something that you know shouldn't be there, but I've learned to ask myself, are you afraid because of something that's happened that shouldn't, or because it wants you to be afraid? That house wanted you to be afraid. Story 4. Scary. I was taking my trash out around 3 a.m. and I saw a deer standing in a street light. I saw a deer all the time in my neighborhood, but this one looked different. It looked humanoid and feminine in a way I can't describe. I felt intense love and profound connection to the universe radiating from her gaze, as if I had taken a heroic dose of mushrooms. I basked in the hypnosis of it for a few minutes before I suddenly became very scared that she was beginning to approach me. She was moving slowly and non-threatening, but I felt like even though I was safe, she was very dangerous. A few weeks later, I learned about the myth of the deer woman on reservation dogs, and I've been freaking the F out ever since. Apparently, even mentioning her is considered taboo, so I've kept that shit to myself. She is alleged to be a benevolent deity if you are a protector of women and children, and a malevolent deity if you are a harmer of women and children. I've put myself in several stupid situations to protect both, so my personal history is aligned with my experience with whatever the F that is. Fun. I talked to a stray cat down from a pine tree. I walked it through each step one at a time with words and pantomime, and the cat followed my instructions 100% and was fixated on me the entire time. My wife saw it happen and am now convinced that I am a witch. Comforting. I have a neurological condition that can cause extreme insomnia when it flares up. Most people start seeing shadow people in the corners of rooms they have been in, and they've been awake for several days, but I just see shadow cats darting around with the zoomies. Story 5. It seems whenever there's a supposed danger in a dream or a lucid dream, this pack of black wolves starts coming from the distance. They tug at me with their teeth to come back with them. We continue to run as a pack. I eventually become a black wolf myself. I usually wake up right after that. Story 6. My cat is obsessed with staring in one corner. I can't figure out why. No shadows, nothing. Then she'll go to the other end of the house about every day, and she makes this noise. Not a meow, not a call, just a noise. I can't figure out why. Story 7. Dog saw a shadow person with me. She's never been the same afterwards and was scared to enter a dimly lit room until she died. Story 8. When I was around 7 or 8 years old, there was this cat that came to our backyard every evening. My mother used to keep food for her, and she'd just eat and then leave. One day I decided to befriend her by patting her head, and she didn't like it, and my dumbass still continued to do that. She got angry and scratched my entire face with her sharp claw nails. My mother saw this and rushed me to a doctor. I was close to losing my vision, but luckily I was saved. This incident makes me laugh and scared at the same time. Story 9. My boyfriend and I live alone with our 2 dogs and 4 cats. We live in a pretty decent-sized house. We have a baby on the way who will be making his appearance by the end of the month. At the beginning of the week, the animal started acting incredibly weird once my boyfriend left for work. He leaves typically up by 7 a.m. every morning. Our room is in the big living room because we want more space than a smaller bedroom. Our dogs have started barking and whining towards the kitchen around the same time every single morning. The cats have just been fixated on this kitchen as well. All the animals refuse to go in there if it's just me and them. By the time my boyfriend gets back home from work, they are fine. It's honestly frustrating that they don't act like that when he's home. This is not normal for our animals. The kitchen and entry have had a huge, heavy energy throughout the week as well. My boyfriend does feel that like I do, just isn't seeing the odd animal behavior. It's honestly really uncomfortable for me. I don't know what to do or what to believe. I want to believe there's a logical explanation. If someone has any advice for me, that would be great. I've tried everything to get them more comfortable in the kitchen. They are very food-motivated dogs, and I've even tried throwing treats in there for them. They refuse to walk anywhere near that kitchen. Story 10. Last night, I was woken up by my dog crying at the back door. I look at the time, and it's about 3:30 a.m. I think to myself, that's weird, as he never needs to be let out at this time. I get up, turn on the porch lights, and then let him out. He was hesitant to go out when I opened the door, which is also weird for him. I watched as he runs over to the back fence and starts barking. This isn't his normal bark. He basically sounded and looked like Cujo. Alarmed, I have never seen him be this distressed, so I open the door and call out to him to come back inside. That's when I hear it. Whistling. Sound like someone whistling a song, but I don't see anything at this point, so I'm still a little freaked out because I'm not sure who the hell would be on my property at this time, let alone at all, really. I'm desperately trying to get him to come back in, but he's fixated on whatever he's barking at. I run to the kitchen to grab his treats, hoping to bribe him back inside. I come back to the door and I hear someone or something barking back at my dog, but in a high-pitched voice. It sounds like when a human barks like a dog, if that makes sense. I look towards where the noise is coming from, and I can barely make out what looks like glowing eyes staring out of the forest. The whistling starts again for a minute, and as soon as I shook my treats at him and call out to him, I hear a very loud and deep growl. Not from my dog. It didn't sound human, either. That noise sounded like a very mad, very large animal or something. My dog comes running to the door, straight past me, and grabs his treats right into his crate. I slammed the door and locked it, brought him into my room with me, and barricaded us in there until daylight. I could reason the growling to being a bear or a mountain lion. What was the whistling and the human-like barking? Not sure what it was, but it was enough to scare my dog to the point where he was trembling and panting. He's a German Shepherd, and he's a big, brave boy. I've never seen him that upset. I, too, am afraid and hope that never happens again. So there you go. Some more interesting, creepy sounding strange animal encounters. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, maybe leave a like or a comment, or maybe share it with somebody else who might like it. Subscribe to the channel. Go check out another few videos. There's quite a few on here, and I would appreciate that. Until next time, I appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.